Most guys treat rejection like it's the final blow, like it's game over. But what if I told you that rejection isn't the end? It's the trigger, the spark that can ignite your transformation. The real issue isn't that she said no, it's that you believed her no defined your worth. You handed her the power, thinking she had the final say. But what if you could flip the narrative? What if instead of being the guy who got rejected, you became the guy she regrets letting go? In today's world, women are used to men chasing, pleading, trying to win them back. That energy, it's predictable. It's everywhere. It's easy to ignore. What's rare is a man who controls his presence, a man who knows when to fall silent, who pulls back his energy like it's sacred. That's the man who makes her pause. That's the man who haunts her thoughts. You don't make her question her decision by over-explaining. You do it by being the unexpected variable. You stop showing up where she expects you. You become a mystery she didn't plan for. That kind of presence, or rather, that absence is unforgettable. So she turned you down. Perfect. That's your green light. Now you show her not through anger, not through petty games, but by becoming something untouchable. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. You don't get loud, you move with precision. You don't prove anything. You become everything she can't predict. Understand this, women are wired to chase uncertainty, to crave what they can't fully understand. And nothing confuses her more than a man who doesn't fold, doesn't flinch, just disappears into purpose. The man who gets under her skin after rejection isn't emotional, he's intentional. He doesn't react, he redirects. He doesn't chase, he evolves. And when that shift happens, it's undeniable. She starts replaying the last conversation, she checks your page, she wonders where you went, what you're doing, and who has your attention now. Not because you begged, but because you vanished with strength, ready to make that shift. Let's break it down step by step. This is how you go from the man she dismissed to the one she'll never forget. Let's get into it. Saying number 1, silence makes noise. Silence is louder than any message you could send her after rejection. Most men make the mistake of trying to explain themselves, trying to get closure, or worse, trying to fix something that never wanted to be fixed. But silence? That gets under her skin. Women expect a reaction, they expect emotions, they expect you to be affected. The moment you show none of that, you disrupt the pattern. She thought you'd reach out again. She thought you'd try to convince her. She thought you'd double back and make her feel powerful for rejecting you, but you didn't. You did nothing. That nothing speaks volumes. It creates curiosity. It makes her question her own decision. And in the modern world, curiosity is more powerful than attraction. Your silence does 2 major things. First, it separates you from the crowd of desperate men trying to stay in her life after rejection. Second, it forces her to face the reality that you're not a man who begs for attention. That alone can trigger something deeper than attraction. It can trigger regret. Not because she misses you, but because she realizes you moved on without a twitch. Most men are scared to be silent. They feel like they're losing the battle if they don't speak up. But power isn't in how loud you can be, it's in how still you can remain, while the other person wonders what's going on inside your mind. You don't need to block her, you don't need to delete her, you just need to disappear from her emotional radar completely. No explanations, no closure, just gone. Now, here's where it gets real. When you go silent, don't sit around hoping she reaches out. That defeats the purpose. You're not doing this for a reaction. You're doing this because it is the reaction. It's not about waiting for her to notice your absence. It's about building a presence so strong that your absence can't be ignored. The mistake weak men make is using silence as manipulation. They wait, they hope, they check her stories. They peek at her page. That's not silence, that's disguised obsession. Real silence is when you live, when you level up, when you become unpredictable, unavailable, and uninterested. And that's when she starts checking. That's when she watches your life from the shadows. That's when she tells her friends, I wonder why he just disappeared like that. You become the question she can't answer, and every woman hates unanswered questions. So remember this, rejection is your opportunity to make her uncomfortable in her certainty. Silence is the first step. Let her feel the space. Let her sit in the echo of what she thought was the end. Because while she was trying to move on from you, she had no idea she'd end up chasing a man who vanished without a word and left behind a presence louder than any goodbye. Sing number 2. Stop being too available. The fastest way to become invisible to a woman is to be too available, especially after she's rejected you. When a woman knows she can get your attention at any time, she stops valuing it. And when she knows she can enter your world whenever she feels like it, she no longer fears losing you. If there's no cost to accessing you, there's no urgency, no curiosity, no desire. Men think being available shows they care. They think it proves they're loyal, consistent, or patient. But here's the truth most men ignore. In the modern world, availability without boundaries is weakness. It tells her you don't have options. It tells her your life is still revolving around her even after she walked away. That's not love, that's low value. The moment she rejects you, your time, energy, and attention should become scarce. Not in a fake or forced way, but in a real earned way. You're not pretending to be busy. You're actually living, you're working out, you're building your life, you're leveling up your finances, you're emotionally growing, and she rejected you, but you use that rejection as a wake-up call, not a wound. That alone flips the script. When you're too available, she knows she can play the game, she knows she can string you along, check in when she's bored, use your attention as a confidence boost, and walk away again without consequence. But the moment she senses that you're no longer waiting, no longer responding instantly, no longer around like you used to be, the power starts shifting. She begins to feel what you used to feel: uncertainty. The real danger of being too available is this: it puts you in her control. She sets the tone. She decides when to talk. She decides when you matter. That's not a man's position. That's a man being managed like an option. And when a woman is the one doing the managing, she's never going to see you as the man she needs to respect or chase. So how do you pull back your availability in a way that builds value? You stop giving her what she didn't appreciate. You stop being her comfort zone. If she texts you, take your time responding. If she calls, you're not rushing to pick up. If she wants to hang out, you're not suddenly free like a backup plan. And more importantly, you're not explaining why. No, I was busy. No, sorry, I missed this. Just peace and distance. Let her feel that. Eventually, the pattern breaks. She starts wondering where you went. She starts checking for you, even if she won't admit it. She starts realizing that the man she dismissed didn't stay in place. He became harder to reach, harder to read, and harder to forget. That's how you win. Not by chasing, not by proving, but by making yourself a rare access, something she can't just tap into at her convenience. Because the moment she can't reach you like before, she'll question if she ever really knew your value in the first place. Seeing number 3, give her nothing to work with. When a woman rejects you, what she expects is a response she can control. She expects you to get emotional, to over-explain, to check in, or to linger. She wants to feel like she still matters, even after pushing you away. But the tactic that gets deep under her skin is the one that gives her nothing. No emotional updates, no reactions, no hints, no energy. Just a clean, cold, blank space where she thought you'd still be available. Most men make it easy for a woman to figure out where they stand. They show their feelings on their face, in their texts, and in their actions. They make themselves readable, predictable. And when a woman knows exactly what you're thinking, she has no need to reflect on her decision. She can move on with confidence because you gave her clarity. You made it too easy. Now think about what happens when you go completely blank. Not cold and bitter blank. No retaliation, no confession, no chase, no petty games. Just silence and growth. She checks your page. There's no clue. She sees you in public. You're calm and unbothered. She hears your name and there's no mess attached. That unsettles her, not because she wants you back immediately, but because she no longer knows how to place you. That confusion is powerful. When you give her nothing to work with, her mind does the work for you. She starts to fill in the gaps. She starts creating stories. Did he really move on that fast? Was he never that into me? Why isn't he saying anything? You don't have to play games. You just have to keep your mouth shut and your presence tight. Let her imagination do what your words never could. And this is where most men mess it up. They get impatient. They want to be seen. They want a reaction. So they post subliminal messages. They try to look unbothered online. They hope she watches their story and regrets everything, but that's still giving her something. And if she knows you're trying to get a reaction, she already won. You win by becoming unreadable. When she can't get a read on you, she can't control the narrative. That's when she starts questioning if she misunderstood you. That's when she wonders if she judged you too quickly. She rejected you thinking you'd be crushed. But now she's confused by how peaceful you are. That tension eats at her confidence. Understand this. Emotional distance is not the same as indifference. Indifference is when you don't care. Emotional distance is when you choose not to show it. You feel what you feel, but you don't hand it to her. You deal with it privately, like a man. And that restraint becomes power. By giving her nothing to work with, you take back control. You make her question not just her decision, but her perception of you entirely. And the moment she starts questioning what she thought she knew, that's the moment you step out of her past and become the mystery she can't shake off. Sing number 4. Disappear without warning. One of the most powerful moves a man can make after being rejected is to disappear completely and without explanation. No closure, no long messages, no let's stay friends. Just silence and space. You don't announce it. You don't hint at it. You vanish like a ghost with purpose. And the most important part, you never come back the same man she rejected. When you disappear without warning, you create the kind of absence that lingers. Because the human mind isn't wired to handle sudden endings, especially when someone expected to have control over how the story ends. A woman who rejects you usually believes you'll remain an option, a safety net, a familiar comfort she can return to when she gets bored or lonely. That's why disappearing disrupts everything she calculated. Suddenly, you're not there to respond to her posts. You're not there to wish her well. You're not orbiting around her social media. You don't like her pictures. You don't view her stories. You're not visible, reachable, or predictable. You've gone dark, and it makes her feel like she's missing something important, even if she doesn't understand why yet. Men underestimate the weight of their presence. When you're always around, she adjusts to it. It becomes routine. She knows you'll text. She knows you'll check in. But the moment you disappear without warning, you force her to confront the silence you left behind. And trust this silence with no explanation screams louder than any angry rant or emotional plea. This isn't about being childish or playing games. It's about making a clean break that communicates one thing: you rejected me and I accepted it fully. No half-hearted friendship. No second chances through the back door. No reminders that you're still in the background. She doesn't get to feel your energy if she didn't want your presence. And while you disappear, you don't just hide. You elevate. You improve. You glow up quietly. You build your body, your money, your peace. You become more valuable in silence than you ever were while trying to prove yourself. She thought she closed the chapter, but now she sees the man she once overlooked has become someone unrecognizable. That's when the regret begins. A silent disappearance works because it puts her in a mental loop. She doesn't know how you feel. She doesn't know what you're thinking. She doesn't know if you're still affected or if you've completely detached. That not knowing, that's what makes her question everything. She thought she was in control. She thought she had the final word. But now you've taken the power back by walking away without a sound. The best revenge is evolution, and it starts the day you disappear. Don't watch her. Don't wait for her. Don't explain yourself. Just vanish. And when or if she tries to reach you down the line, she shouldn't find the same version of the man she rejected. She should meet a man she no longer has the privilege to access. Sing number 5. Never try to fix her decision. One of the biggest mistakes men make after rejection is trying to fix it. They think if they say the right words, explain their feelings better, or give it time, she'll reconsider. They start negotiating, apologizing, sending long messages that beg for understanding. All of it comes from a place of wanting closure or redemption. But here's the truth. When you try to fix her decision, you destroy your value. A woman makes decisions based on how she feels in the moment. If she felt you weren't the man for her, that wasn't a mistake. That was her truth at the time. Your job as a man is not to debate her truth, it's to accept it and walk. Like you were never waiting for her approval, because every time you tried to fix her rejection, you confirm that her decision was right. You tell her through your actions that she had more power than you, that you're trying to make yourself acceptable again, and that kills attraction. Think about it. If she rejects you and you immediately turn into the man who tries to understand what went wrong, you've lost frame. You're not leading anymore. You're chasing answers, and no woman feels desire for the man she sees begging for clarity. You might think you're being emotionally mature, but in her mind, you're proving you didn't have the strength to walk away with your dignity intact. The right move after rejection is not to fix anything. It's to let it burn. Let the door close. let the opportunity die. That kind of confidence and finality makes her question what she gave up. You don't tell her she made a mistake, you make her feel it, not through manipulation, but through complete detachment. You stop trying, you stop explaining, and that silence speaks louder than any apology ever could. When a woman sees that you didn't try to fix things, it messes with her ego. She expected you to plead, to reach out, to chase, but instead you walked quietly, strongly, without a second guess. That's when the doubt creeps in. Not immediately, but slowly, over time. She starts replaying everything. And when she realizes you didn't fight for her, it hits different. Not because you didn't care, but because you valued yourself more than her validation. You have to understand something deep here. Women don't respect men who negotiate their worth. When you try to explain why she should change her mind, you're putting your value on sale. And anything that's on sale is easily ignored. But when you remain solid, distant, and unmoved, she starts looking at you differently. So stop trying to fix it. Don't send another text. Don't ask mutual friends what she's saying. Don't hope she circles back. Just move completely. Let her live with the weight of her own decision, and don't ever help her carry it. Because the moment she sees you aren't broken by her rejection, she'll start wondering if she ever really understood who you were to begin with. Sing number 6. Become hard to reach. The moment a woman rejects you, she subconsciously places you in a category. She thinks she has access to you forever. Maybe not romantically, but emotionally. She expects you to still watch her stories, like her posts. Maybe even reply to her late-night texts when she gets bored. In her mind, you'll always be there just in case. That's the comfort zone she keeps for men she doesn't want, but doesn't want to lose either. But when you become hard to reach, you shake that comfort zone to its core. Being hard to reach doesn't mean blocking her or playing childish games. It means becoming a man who is focused, scarce, and deeply invested in things that don't involve her. Your time becomes valuable. Your attention becomes rare. You don't become bitter, you become unavailable. You're not mad. You're just not there anymore. And the absence of your presence becomes heavy. She might not realize it at first. She might even feel good about her decision. But over time, the reality sets in. You're not replying like you used to. You're not showing up in her digital space. She can't tell what you're up to. She doesn't know who you're with. You've gone off the radar, not in a dramatic way, but in a way that says, I've moved on and I'm not looking back. That's when curiosity starts eating at her. Women are not used to losing emotional access to men they once had control over. So when she sees you've placed distance between her and your energy, she feels it, even if she doesn't say it. And the more she feels that distance, the more questions start to build up in her mind. Did he really just disappear? Why isn't he watching my stories? Who has his attention now? She'll never ask you directly. But trust me, she's thinking it. And here's what makes it even more powerful. While you become hard to reach, you don't chase attention either. You don't post things to make her jealous. You don't try to look happy. You're just living quietly, confidently, without needing her to notice. You become a man who's moving in silence, and that silence creates pressure. Because now she's the one who's curious. She's the one who wants answers. And you're not offering any. Men who are too easy to access rarely get respected. But the man who disappears into purpose, who becomes scarce, who, without attitude, no longer makes himself available on her terms, he's the one who becomes unforgettable because she can't read him anymore. And a woman can't forget what she can't figure out. So if you want her to question everything after rejecting you, stop being easy to reach. Let her feel what life is like without your energy constantly filling her space. Let her miss the attention she thought she didn't need, and when she realizes she no longer has that access, she'll start to regret giving it up in the first place. Sing number 7. Level up in silence. After rejection, most men either fall into depression or go loud trying to prove something. They post gym selfies, quote deep captions, or flash their progress online to get a reaction. But women are not impressed by noise. They're disturbed by silence that speaks louder than any performance. If you really want her to question rejecting you, you don't level up for attention, you level up in silence. This kind of evolution hits different. You're not doing it to be seen. You're doing it because that rejection gave you clarity. It reminded you of what matters, becoming a stronger man with or without her approval. You stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to fix the situation. And instead, You put all that emotional energy into building quietly, relentlessly, without showing your hand. When a man disappears and silently evolves, it creates a mystery women cannot ignore. They don't know what's changed, but they feel the shift. You used to be available, now you're focused. You used to give time, now you invest it. You used to chase, but now you move like a man who knows exactly where he's going. And you don't take detours to prove your worth to anyone. This evolution isn't just physical. Yes, hit the gym, yes, fix your posture and sharpen your look, but also fix your money, fix your mindset, fix your space. Become the kind of man who doesn't need validation, because he already knows his value. When she sees you later, not through your posts, but through the way you carry yourself, she won't recognize you. That unfamiliar version of you is what creates the regret. Women are deeply attracted to growth, especially when it's effortless. If you go out of your way to show her you're doing better, she knows you're still attached. But if you quietly become better, she can't figure you out. And that's what haunts her. She rejected one version of you, but now you've evolved into a version she can't access, can't read, and can't ignore. Let the results speak. Not the Instagram updates, not the tweets. Let your progress announce itself without words. The next time she hears about you, it should be through someone else's mouth, not your online profile. Let her see your name pop up in places she didn't expect. Let her feel your absence in every room you used to be in. That kind of glow up is unforgettable. Because it's not for her, it's for you. The man who levels up in silence becomes dangerous. Not because he's angry, but because he's focused. He's not chasing closure, not revenge, not even recognition. He's chasing purpose. And that kind of man can't be rejected, he can only be missed. If you want her to question everything, evolve behind closed doors. By the time she opens her eyes, the man she let go of won't exist anymore. And the man you've become will be too far ahead to look back. She rejected you thinking she'd always have access. But when you shift your energy, hold your ground, and evolve in silence, you flip the entire script. She begins to question everything. Not because you chased her, but because you disappeared with strength. The man who accepts rejection without begging, who levels up without noise, becomes unforgettable. She expected weakness, but got mystery. She expected you to linger, but you vanished into purpose. And that silence? It speaks louder than any words ever could. Let her feel the absence. Let her sit with her choice and never go back to prove your worth. If you're serious about mastering the dating game, don't forget to subscribe on the channel. We go beyond what's covered in these videos, deeply giving you powerful insights from the first approach to lasting attraction. Improve your love life through the Stoic couple teachings tricks. Take action now and start transforming your dating life today. See you in the next video.